Alright people, welcome back to the channel. This is probably going to be my final video covering these leaks, at least for today, unless something else crazy comes out. Honestly, I thought the last video would be my last one for the day, but the amount of data mining and information we have gotten about Tears of the Kingdom today, from the game being dumped and leaked and everything, made me want to do another one, because the amount of information we've gotten is so absolutely insane. Pretty much all of the biggest questions we had surrounding this game have been answered, so I wanted to go over some of my favorites, or some of the main things that I think are important for this game, things that I think that you guys want to know and hear about, and if they're in this game or not, and get into it. So yeah, obviously spoiler warning, if you don't want to know anything about the game, then don't watch this video. However, I will say, if you just want to know more, like, based on like how big is the game, are there dungeons, that kind of stuff, you're probably fine with this video. Actually, I'm not going to be going into story spoilers. I might talk about some bosses potentially, but I'm not going to go in depth with like plot. Right, so you can watch this video if you are trying to steer clear of that, but today I really want to focus on the size of this game, because there is so much that Nintendo did not show us, and obviously, once again, I can't show footage of the game, otherwise Nintendo's gonna come kill me. I can't show footage of the leaks, so take my word for it. If you go on Reddit or 4chan or Reset Era, you will find all of this information and all of these screenshots. I can't even believe what I've seen. Genuinely, I know I don't want to sound like I'm too hyped up, but the stuff that I have seen from these leaks have put me over the moon for this video game. So let's just start with some basic numbers. We know caves are going to be in this game. We've seen them on the map. We know there's like a check mark in the gameplay that Aonuma did, so we knew it was going to be more like, you know, you can kind of complete a cave, right? Based on the data mining, there are, I think it was 389 caves in the game. That's huge. That's more than there are shrines. And yes, some of the caves are going to be small. You're going to walk into it, fight two enemies, and then you're done it. But I saw some caves where they're going super deep, and you find chests and items, and there's puzzles inside the cave. So there's close to 400. In fact, there probably just is around 400. We'll just say that. So caves are an absolute huge part of this game. Shrines, based on data mining, it sounds like there's going to be about 150. I saw people saying 151. I don't know what that one extra one is for. Maybe that's like a story-related thing. But yeah, there's 150 shrines, give or take, which is obviously quite a bit more than Breath of the Wild. It's not like massively more, but that's not where it gets crazy, people. Also, there's apparently 53 different paraglider skins. I saw that statistic thrown around. But that's not where it gets crazy. So let's talk about the dungeons really quick. People have been asking in my comments of the last two videos, are dungeons in the game? Yes. There are themed dungeons in this game, people. They have completely listened to all of the feedback for this game. It's not even close. So I'm not going to spoil I'm not going to say exactly what the dungeons are, but you can make guesses. There's going to be one based on each of the champion, right? So, you know, Teba's kid will have one, the Goron will have one, Sidon will have one, that kind of thing. But there are 6 dungeons. I believe that is including like the final area, you know, whatever that is. I think it's Hyrule Castle, probably, right? So six dungeons, so 5 regular and then 1 final dungeon. And we haven't actually seen straight footage of these dungeons yet, but we've seen the maps. And we've seen the bosses. Just based on the maps, it's much closer to traditional Zelda dungeon. You know, it's never going to be quite the same because of the way these games play versus, like Twilight Princess, for example. You know, the physics and the puzzles are going to be different, but the layouts look really good. In fact, there's multiple floors. It almost looks like every dungeon that I'm seeing so far is probably about the size of Hyrule Castle from Breath of the Wild. So, for example, the fire dungeon, we'll just say, we saw a clip of that. It's like the big mine in that one trailer, right? It is 5 floors. And some of the floors are a little bit smaller, right? But this is so much better and just leagues above what Breath of the Wild did. It's not even close. But not only that, we saw a ton of new enemies, but also new bosses and mid-bosses. So this is one thing I was really excited about. There are mid-bosses and dungeons again. I can't remember, did Skyward Sword have like Gear Him sometimes pop up? Or, you know, there was occasionally like a mid-boss, but the last game that I remember that really had true mid-bosses in every dungeon was probably Ocarina of Time, right? At least 3D Zelda. Correct me on that in the comments. I might just be misremembering. But, maybe Wind Waker, I'm not sure. But yeah, every dungeon has a mid-boss, and even these have really cool designs and unique designs. One of them, I won't spoil it. But yeah, they're all unique. And then the actual bosses for the dungeons, the replacements for the blights, basically, are really varied as well. We see. I don't want to say too much. If you don't want to see it for yourself, that's fine. Or if you do want to go see it for yourself, you can find it on, like I said, Reset Era is where I'm looking at it right now. But it's traditional Zelda boss design. It's not the blights. It is. I'm looking at the one for the Death Mountain dungeon, right? The fire dungeon. It is the most Zelda-looking boss with a big eyeball, and I'm so happy that I'm looking at this. Then there's the one for what I assume would be like the water temple, right? And it's just like this weird, once again, big eyeballs. And just these unique designs that we haven't seen from Zelda before that make me so freaking happy. The blights are fine, and the designs for them are cool, but the variety in Breath of the Wild was definitely missing. And like I said, there's those mid-bosses, so across the board, dungeons and shrines, the amount of content there is absolutely groundbreaking. Here's the thing, though, and this is what made me just stop doing what I was doing and make this video. I cannot believe I'm saying this because it is something that everybody has been asking about. It's something we've been theorizing since 2019, and I'm happy to confirm, people, that there is an entire underground section of the map. I'm not talking about caves. Now, we don't know how big this is, but there specifically, once again, on Reset Era, if they don't get nuked by the time this video goes up, there is a screenshot of the map, and on the left it has the base for the ground, right? And then above that, you can switch to view the Sky Island map, because, you're going up layers. There's an entire section for what they call the depths. Whether or not it's the entirety of Hyrule in this underground interconnected area, that remains to be seen. It's probably not. However, I said there's 151 shrines? Yeah, apparently the underground has something completely different to do. Like just another replacement for shrines. There's a different icon for the thing that you do underneath. There's also a replacement for towers underground. So that tells me it's probably a pretty big dam. If anything, it might be bigger than the Sky Islands because the Sky Islands just have the same shrines as the base map. I cannot believe Nintendo did not reveal this. This is the biggest video game ever made, bro. It's not even close. How is this running on 2017 hardware? Really, what would that be? 2015 hardware? I genuinely don't understand. I was reading some people that are playing it. Apparently, there are certain like just places in the map you can enter the underground, right? And it's just like this big hole in the map, and you just fall through it. And it's seamless. It doesn't load. It just puts you there. How? Now, sure, you might be falling for a few seconds, so maybe that's like them loading the game real quick. But the fact that this is possible on a Nintendo hardware, I'm literally speechless. The more I look at these leaks, the more speechless I get, the more excited I get for this game. I'm looking at a new image that was just posted, and it's showing the portions of the underground. Honestly, the underground probably looks like it's at least half the size of Breath of the Wild's map. On top of the fact that Breath of the Wild's map is there, with new stuff, the caves. On top of the Sky Islands. I'm actually speechless. I think if you've been watching all my videos, I've been excited for this game. But I hope with this video I'm conveying how much better this game is looking even now. I already thought the game looked amazing. But with these leaks and these spoilers, I don't understand how any other video game could compete. In terms of an open world space, I feel bad. I feel bad for other developers because there's no shot you can top this. And yeah, it's because they took an extra 5 years on top of Breath of the Wild's development to make this game, or 6 years. But I cannot believe how big this game is. This is going to be I was talking to my friend who completed Breath of the Wild twice, 100%, like upgraded all the armor, all Koroks and everything. He said it took him about 250 hours per playthrough for Breath of the Wild. Based on what we're seeing, my voice is cracked like crazy. Based on what we're seeing, it looks like this game's probably 500 or 600 hours just to complete once. I can't believe it. So maybe I'm overblowing it. Maybe the underground would be much smaller than what these leaks are leading me to believe. And maybe the dungeons won't be as good and the enemy variety won't be quite there. But first blush, looking at this stuff, guys, yeah. Tears of the Kingdom is going to be really good. So subscribe here so you don't miss any more videos covering these leaks. I don't imagine there will be much else to cover, though, to be honest. I'm not going to go specifically into each enemy design. And subscribe here for my coverage of the game when it eventually does come out. Or maybe a little bit earlier than that. Hopefully I can get an early copy or start playing it somehow. You know what I'm saying. So, yeah, subscribe here for that. And, of course, I will see you next time. Thank you for watching. Peace.